is a typical scene you'll see in any school in northern Michigan on any given afternoon. Kids are rushing to their next class, they're sharing a laugh with their friends, they're studying for their next test. It plays out pretty much the same each day for K-12 students who can count on the predictability of their school routine. What students likely do not realize, though, is the amount of care and effort that all of you put into their education, even when you're not standing in front of them in the classroom. Hi, my name is Beth Peel Eckerly, and I am the Communications Coordinator for Char-Em ISD. In my job, I get to travel to all of our schools regularly, like this one, to learn about the important initiatives being undertaken, and I get to see firsthand the commitment of our educators to their students. This past year has proved no exception to that commitment, as I have witnessed a new local district initiative designed to deliver the best education to students throughout Char-Em ISD. This initiative, involving your peers with the support of your administrators, has meant some additional efforts to benefit you and your students, specifically developing clarity around state standards. The High Quality Teaching and Learning Project, commonly known as HQTL, is developing learning targets, assessments, and learning progressions for ELA and science, and it's nearing completion. In the next few minutes, you'll hear the why for this work, what has been done to date, and what are the next steps for you and your fellow educators. We hope you will share the excitement that this work has generated and that you'll be ready to implement it in the 2019-20 school year and beyond.
Hi, I'm Matt Stephenson, Superintendent of East Jordan Public Schools, and I'm thrilled to share some details about the work of your colleagues over the last year. This project has been meaningful to me, and I'm pleased that it's been embraced by many other school districts along with us in East Jordan. The HQTL initiative is centered around the process developed by Larry Ainsworth, a leading expert in creating custom curriculum standards and teacher clarity for districts around the U.S. His work has revolutionized the delivery of education for thousands of students, and it has helped teachers in an area that can be the most challenging: consistency and clarity in what students are expected to achieve. Larry has worked with staff on location in northern Michigan 3 times since spring of 2018, and he remains on call to help us move the work forward by answering questions and preparing for the addition of more subjects in the future. The first round of HQTL has focused on ELA and science. It's been strenuous work. The fact that we are trying to develop consistency across the ISD is a challenge in itself, from defining the meaning of standards to the discussion about their common alignments. While these are tough discussions, we are committed to the process. So what does this mean for you?
It means we will finally have clarity and consistency for the standards our students are expected to master. Like you, I've sought clarity and learning targets for my students that are cohesive and ready to use. As you and I both know, a lot of initiatives in education come and go. Through my work on the High Quality Teaching and Learning Committee, I can see this initiative has particular fidelity because of how it's been structured and, more importantly, supported. There has been a committed group of educators invested in this work with both time and knowledge. We've met multiple times year-round to make sure it's being done the right way. It's important for those of us working on this first round of high-quality teaching and learning to let our peers know that the documents have been created are a starting point that will be fine-tuned and improved based on your future input. The idea that we have a common document across Char-Em ISD schools with clarity is huge. And so is the fact that we have the resources needed to make this happen.
That is such an important point, Diana, because ultimately we want you to know that this work is supported across the schools that have committed to the process. Also, it is not meant to be an additional responsibility. Rather, Larry's process brings clarity to what our students are supposed to be learning so that we can work together to ensure that they're held to the appropriate expectations. The districts collaborating on HQTL, like Boyne City, are dedicated to appropriating resources and time, which we've continued to adjust for staff who have been involved in this methodical work. While we are starting with ELA and science, we continue in the years ahead to look at other subject areas. I've personally heard from many staff working on the ground level how much they've benefited from the work itself and how excited they are to share this work with their colleagues ISD-wide.
In the introduction to this video, Beth Eckerly briefly mentioned the terms that Larry uses for the HQTL work: standards, learning targets, assessments, and learning progressions. Let's talk about what that means for us as classroom teachers a little more. As you know, standards are the basis for all of our teaching, be it high school science, middle school language arts, or here in early elementary. My teaching partner Beth Risto will now explain more about learning targets.
Thanks, Nicole. Learning targets are the specific skills that students need to meet a standard. In HQTL, multiple learning targets are being created that will serve as guideposts for each standard. Learning targets create clear expectations for both the student and the teacher. Learning progressions are the building blocks for students to master the learning targets or standards. For a teacher who might think, my students aren't capable of meeting these new learning targets, HQTL relies on the idea that student achievement will naturally improve as a result of well-designed learning progressions.
Next, we created quality assessments to gauge whether students are grasping standards and where they fall on the range of understanding. With checks along the way, you'll know before the big test how students might perform and who is in need of extra support. These assessments will be tools for teachers to use as a way to benchmark progress of their students. Ultimately, teachers will be able to make better instructional decisions to help each student succeed based on the assessment results. Remember, this initial work is being constructed with the collective knowledge and experience of the individuals on the teams. We see what you see and share the same struggles, and this helps us to understand and appreciate why this work is so important.
So, what's next? Prior to the start of the 2019-20 school year, ELA and science teachers will have a chance to learn more in depth about these materials and how they will be used to enhance their district's curriculum. Educators across Char-Em will begin using the materials in the fall to gain a familiarity with the resources. In an effort to create a worry-free implementation, the HQTL leadership is currently working to develop a support system that will be available to educators throughout the school year. In the spring of 2020, the HQTL leadership will formally seek feedback from educators using the materials to identify areas of need and then work with a representative group from across Char-Em to make the necessary improvements. And importantly, Larry Ainsworth will continue to provide support as this initiative moves forward.
Hi, I'm Larry Ainsworth, the author of CFA 2.0. I've greatly enjoyed working closely with the teachers and the leaders of Char-Em ISD school districts. And you know, someone once said that all great visions come dressed in work clothes. And as you know by now, this is hard work. But I want to encourage you to stay the course, not only for yourself and your colleagues, but primarily for your students. You are doing the right work. And the right work is almost always challenging, and it certainly takes time. So I just want to encourage you, stay the course, and you will continue to make great strides. I'm eager to hear your success stories, your challenges, as you implement this process in the coming months and years ahead. So I just want to wish you best wishes in your continued dedication to doing what's best for kids. Thank you for all you do for your students.